My name is Concrete Mike P. I am the host of a hip hop talk show called Temple Tactics on Public Access TV. I'm a hip hop historian. I'm also the co-founder of the LA chapter of the Temple of Hip Hop, which is a nonprofit founded by KRS. And I've known East of the River here and what they do, and I've been invited to participate in Lighter Fluid number 7 and talk hip hop history and how it involves brown people of the past and in today as well.
Awesome. So, your past, we'll start with you. What's your, what's your relationship with hip hop been like? What's your journey or your story with hip hop? If you give it us right at the beginning, the genesis of it. When did you first hear the art form? When did you first hear the music? And how has it been involved with your life up to this point?
Wow, man, good question. Man, I could take it back. I used to be a runner, and I can remember going to track meets since junior high. And I remember you would sit back in under the bleachers and wait for your event to come up. And then one day someone turned on a jam. And it happened to be some Run DMC. Everyone was like, "Yo, what's that?" But not only that, someone was break dancing, and this is in Corpus Christi. So nonetheless, yeah, that began. That was the joint that got it for me, and been following it since as far as music is concerned. And then made a transition coming from Texas out here to Los Angeles. Just came out here young and whatever. Started dabbling in hip hop in the sense of going to shows just like everyone else did out there. And happened to run into KRS one time at a show, snuck backstage. And ran up to him and said, "Hey, man, love what you do. Lyrics are inspiring. I'm looking for a book. You have this book called The Science of Rap. Yo, where do we get that?" He looked at me like, "Yo, you see that lady over there? Go give her your phone number." And I was like, all right, cool. So I went, gave him phone number. And then about a few days later, I get this phone call. And he goes, "Hey, yo," it wasn't him, but it was someone in his team. And he said, "Yo, man, he's doing a show. We'd like to know if you want to hand out some flyers." I said, "Yo, we'll get you into the show. Whoop." I said, "For sure. Got you." Showed up early. Woo, all excited. Yeah. I'll hand out flyers for KRS. Dude goes, "Hey, I just want to know if you showed up, if you were going to do that." And I was like, "Yo, there's no flyers?" He said, No, I'm just checking you. Oh, word. Okay. Boom. After that, it was just like, you're on, and it just always became this progression in regards to hip hop and KRS, showing up with him at these conferences, at these lectures. But not only that, showing up at, events and saying, contributing, like saying, "Yo, I got some hip hop history in my back pocket." You just don't roll up with an organization. You got to have something that you provide. Yeah. So along rolling with KRS, he began to create this organization called the Temple of Hip Hop. He started out east and he brought it out to LA, and he was looking at some individuals. I happened to be one. Another individual is Sir Malik one, and these individuals helped contribute to the founding of the chapter of the Temple of Hip Hop in Los Angeles. And that kind of began my start from there. And from that's basically the springboard. You talk KRS and Temple of Hip Hop, that kind of opens up some doors, but you also have to prove your way in on there. And fused along with my hip hop then history and my own history that I do in my own life as me being a brown individual and Chicano,
So I would love to talk about that a bit. So, where did the intersection for history come in? Is it your love for, understanding the past? Is it that, did you just, it's almost like you're collecting in a way, you're collecting these moments and you have your calendar. And so, when did that happen? When did that occur on the journey? Like, oh, I love this history side of it. Let me get well versed in this. Can you elaborate on that a bit?
Yeah, for sure. Well, I have a family history, and shout out to my Aunt Irene from Texas. And she's always documented our history as far as ancestries. And I happen to have great-great-grandfathers, I think 3 or 4 back. They founded the city of Nacogdoches. City of Nacogdoches, there's a statue of them there. We come from the Ibarbos. And that kind of started it when you see that there's a statue on the border of Texas and Louisiana, where a small town, and there's a statue, and you're related to it. And it's called the Ibarbos is who they are. That comes from my mom. And again, my aunt documented that. And me being hip-hop, I always liked that. When you open the album cover, there's this information in there, right? And I always like that stuff. So, that's history, about when the album dropped and that kind of stuff. So I always fused that into it. It's music, always been a music lover. And it started with, having a family history, because that makes you stand out. Like, yo, I got a history, that's real, And So when the hip hop came into play like that, as I was saying, rolling with KRS, you go to these organizations. Not only does he grab the mic and rock it, nightly, but he also sits down and goes to major universities and talks up history and stuff like that and how to be in the industry. So I was there, keeping with the pen and paper, writing out those dates. And you've been in my garage in the lab, and you've seen the books that are stacked up on the shelves. There's some books in there of hip hop. So nonetheless, I've just brought it all together, man. And not only that, highlighted and looked at what it is to be brown in hip hop. You know what I'm saying? Because we are a political base. We are a spending base, as you rap about on your lyrics as well. But nonetheless, yeah, and we are also a part of that foundation of hip hop as we get ready to go into hip hop 51 years old, right? We were there when the Breakers were there, or excuse me, the B-Boys, Ken Swift, Puerto Rican. We have coming out here out west, we have Lyrically, who Spanglished it up, Kid Frost, Mellow Man Ace, all those individuals, and those need to be highlighted. It's important because we're here, basically. You know what I'm saying? Chicano, Dominican Republic, Puerto Ricans, everyone.
And that's a great segue to your involvement with lighter fluid, right? We spoke a little about, knowing EOTR and how our paths have crossed throughout the years. But here's this new thing, lighter fluid, right? And it's a hip-hop conference on the east side, predominantly Chicano, Latino kids. And here you come, and you're our teacher. You're our KRS in this sense to teach us. And that's the importance of having you and you leading this class for us. So could you talk a little about that, like the history class at Lighter Fluid, specifically what you'll be teaching, touching on it a bit, and also for someone who may not even know what Lighter Fluid is, if you could just fill them in on that.
Oh, sure. Well, let's start with that last part of that question. What is a lighter fluid? Man, first of all, lighter fluid takes part in a particular part of town. It's in East LA, in Boyle Heights, which has a lot of history, not only just music, but fashion, but technology, obviously, right? We're at Boyle Heights Technology. And this gentleman, Viva Mescal, and his East of the River crew came up with the concept about introducing, not only showcasing individuals up and coming in their hood, but beyond the hood, and then took it to a conference. And then this conference allows individuals to come in and speak what they know best, navigating through hip hop, whether you are making videos, whether you're a performer such as Noah James and these 60 Easts out there, and yourself, Mescal, how to maneuver through that. And for me, I'm just we need to recognize where our history is at. We brought something to the table to begin, and there's a new generation doing it now, and this is what we're going to do. And this gentleman has provided lighter fluid number 7. That's number 7. That just lets you know how he's doing this, how the crowd, how the community has reacted to this, and he's doing it for free, and that just tells you about his love for the community, how he gives back. And I'm proud to be a part of this because history is important. Once again, I'll keep bringing that word up. History. I mean, look at it, divide it. His story, his story. And it's important for us to tell our own stories before someone else comes in and changes it for them. And before we know it, and no disrespect to Eminem, but they're going to say Eminem created it. You know what I'm saying? But no. But there are these people that have contributed, and this is what Lighter Fluid does. It pays respect to those individuals that have contributed, but also how to maneuver in the next steps you're going to take if you're hip hop. You know what I'm saying?
Yep, that's a great point. And could you provide a little from your experience from being an educator, also from your last Lighter Fluid, what's the impact it has on that student, right? That person sitting in the room, listening to your lecture, listening to Noah James about performing and the overall impact, but particularly with the hip hop history. What impact does that have on that individual, on that student, on that attendee?
For one, and for me, really important, and I would say just for, I think, that individual that came up and said, wow, that was pretty cool, what you told me, is that I never knew that. Simple. I never knew that about that. And that could be, I didn't know that Chaz was the creator of Cholo writing. You know what I'm saying? Which came out here out east. Started over here by City Terrace and all that other good stuff along Highland Park. That's what I like when a student comes up and tells you, even an individual, not even just a student, but students more, because they're our younger generation, right? They're the ones that we're trying to lay that seed down, and so hopefully to see them grow and carry on what we're trying to lead forward, like you are doing with Lighter Fluid and Create and that sort of stuff. So that's what I like to hear best, or have someone come up and say that and that response, and hopefully they can take that and move on with something and open up their minds to something, sort of like what I do on Today in Hip Hop every day. It's just a little seed. Hopefully you read it and you're like, you piques your interest, then you pursue it and go on with that and build off that. Same thing you're doing here, what you're providing with Lighter Fluid 7. You're providing something for someone to come up and go, yo, this is what I do. This is what I want to do. What are the next steps? And you're showing them, because you're doing it yourself. And, I'll go back to it. It's free. Lighter Fluid number 7. Come on.
So with all that being said, we've gotten great stuff. I think we've shed a lot of light on yourself as an instructor and what Lighter Fluid is offering. Maybe just leave the people with a little something of what they could expect at this next Lighter Fluid, or what you're looking forward to the most, or what you're looking forward to in general for this next Lighter Fluid, March 9th, Lighter Fluid 7.
One more time, repeat it, my bad.
So what could someone who is going to be attending look forward to for this next Lighter Fluid? What are you looking forward to for this next one?
For Lighter Fluid number 7, obviously you need to stand up and pay attention and go to this. Broken down into 4 panels, 4 workshops, if I may. And for those that are deeply interested in this, I'd say go to all of them. I mean, you need to get all of as much as you can. But nonetheless, for me, and what I would like to see, I always want to learn how to make and promote myself better, right? As far as what I'm doing and what's going on in my life in hip hop. But nonetheless, I'm always looking forward to Noah James and what he has to say, because he's a small little industry he has going on behind himself, right? He's everywhere. I always see him all the time, dropping videos in the studio, merchandise and that stuff. And I want to see, I see his response as well, the fans coming to him. So I always watch this, even yours as well, how fans respond to you and that kind of stuff. And that's what I want to learn, how to get people more involved, because I do history, right? It's kind of hard to get people involved on that side. But how can I be more engaging? And and if I may, you did kind of ask what can people expect in my class. Well, this year I planned it to be more interactive. I think we're off on the side we were just talking. I have a scavenger hunt, a hip hop scavenger hunt to be planned for everyone to be involved with. But if you come into my class, you're actually going to get that hip hop Chicano history from past, present to the future, but also as well, it's going to be interactive. You'll be able to tap in, use your phone, and see places of hip hop in Los Angeles where brown individuals have been involved. That will be tied into my lecture, and you're going to get stuff from audio achievements down to Rhodium, down all the way down to East LA, where hip hop is flourished and still involved in history as well. So thank you. I'm proud to be a part of Lighter Fluid 7. Everyone stand up, pay attention. The night before, they're going to be rocking it. What hip hop was based on, you're going to see the live performance. This is what hip hop is in its fullest. When you see the rapper grab the mic and rap and do his thing. But then there's also the other side, the way it started back in the days, back in the park when people were rocking the mic. They were having ciphers on the side talking about what was going on in their community. And you're like, yo, man, did you hear about this? Yeah, that's what Lighter Fluid is about, man. That will happen Friday night. Come in, wake up Saturday morning, get some good lectures, hear some people talk, give you straight hip hop and how to maneuver in this world of hip hop.